was that the real reward, the trophy, the ring, if you will, the championship is getting to the championship.
Yeah.
Because then, like, once I win, I realize there's no other mountain to conquer.
Yeah.
But I realized that the journey itself, that was the prize.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
speaking to that same point of putting in hours, whether it's at the library, you're
Mhm.
studying, or working on your craft, being in the gym,
Mhm.
how can young men and us too focus on that's the prize and not how I'm going to look at the beach?
Mhm.
This grind right here,
Yeah.
that's the prize, not getting X amount in my bank account.
Yeah.
How do we
Yeah.
start focusing on
What
that?
is his name? Bishop Greg Davis?
Yeah.
All right, well, Bishop Greg Davis is exactly right.
Mm.
Um, the 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 journey is a lot more important than where you're going,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I teach process a lot,
Mm.
whether it's to young athletes, young black men. It's the process, is what happens during that phase of like on my way up,
Mm.
right, or on my way down,
Mm.
depending on the choices that you make.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who you become in that process, you then can
Mm-hmm.
learn from what you do, right? So there's also a saying that I love as well, where it talks about how the differences between life and school, right? In school, you get the information first,
Mm.
and then you take the test.
Mm.
In life, you got the test first.
Yeah.
From that test in life, you pull that information,
That's a bar.
right?
Yeah.
And so uh, for me, the biggest thing is understanding what you went through.
Mm.
If you can, understanding why you went through it, because
Mm.
some things you don't know why you went to until
That's
later on down the line. Caleb, I'm still going through things right now. Necessarily, I say I'm still learning from things,
mm.
or learning why I went through things
Right.
5 years ago,
Hmm.
10 years ago.
Right. Right.
This is why I went through this situation
Mm.
in 2010, 2012, and I just learned that in 2023.
Mm. Good people, what's up? What's good, man? Blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. Today, we got a very special friend of the show, man. Been here since day one, since the very beginning, whether it was starting in my parents' bathroom, on Instagram Live, in the apartment, filming in there, filming at the temporary warehouse spot, then filming here at our permanent or new home, if you will, right now. My guy, BJ Armstead, bro, he does amazing things throughout the community. Atlanta native, Apollo Sports Counseling. He's getting our mental health right. He's teaching our students, whether it's in Knoxville, whether it's back home, whether it's at UGA, man. SEC, man, too, basically, too, bro.
Yes.
Both of them, UGA and 10, bro, and Tennessee. So, man, just a great brother, a breath of fresh air, doing phenomenal things, man. Again, in a plethora of ways, and former athlete and a young black man who truly cares about us, and Omega man too. So
Yes.
you already know that's a real one, bro. That's a real one, man. Morehouse man too. So,
Yes.
bro, brother BJ, man, how you feeling today, bro?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, man. I'm
Yes,
blessed to see this wonderful establishment here too, man.
thank you, bro.
Like you said, bro, I always want to start off, man,
Mm,
congratulating you, telling you I'm
love,
proud of you. You know,
love.
I've been here from the start, like you
Yes,
said.
yes,
So, I mean, this is a blessing seeing this, man. So,
yes, bro.
I love it.
Likewise, man. Off camera, bro, we was having a dope conversation. And again, as a young black man that's been playing baseball and involved around baseball right now, we don't see too many African American men make it on a high level playing baseball. Sometimes we can get veered off, whether that's to basketball or football. But you actually did that at a high level.
Yes.
Did it again on a great level too at a very prestigious school. And you put me on game to something too. So currently, we've been in the process of filming a doc about Auburn Avenue and black entrepreneurship. But what we know or used to know as kids from Atlanta, if you know, you know, as Turner Field. To this day, we still call it Turner Field.
Yes.
I went to Georgia State, graduated from State, and graduated in Turner Field, which they would consider now Georgia State Stadium
Mm-hmm.
just a few years back. But to me, it's Turner Field and
Exactly.
Summer Hill, all of that. So there's a whole backstory that this was supposed to be Hank Aaron Field,
Yes.
and that was supposed to be the home for Morehouse and Clark, right?
Yes.
Clark baseball.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It was, again, this is something that I wished would have happened
Mm.
as somebody that played ball at Morehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Clark and Morehouse both are playing in the hood right now.
Yeah.
Clark playing, I think, on the south side,
Mm.
and Morehouse playing on the east side right now.
Right.
When I played ball at Morehouse, we couldn't have practices or games after 5, 6 o'clock because of the shootouts and the
Safety.
graffiti and safety and stuff like
Wow.
that. But yes, this what we know as Turner Field was supposed to have been bought by Clark and Morehouse. I believe in Georgia State as well, because I know
Yeah.
Georgia State was playing at Panthersville, and I think
Yeah.
they still play that now, baseball.
Wow.
But we were supposed to have a hand in that,
Mm.
and for whatever reason, that did not happen.
Mm.
And it's so unfortunate because right after that, I want to say Hank Aaron passed.
Mhm.
Shortly after that,
Yeah.
I think what was great though was that Gresham Park
Mm.
has now a field that's named after Hank Aaron. I think the Braves has something to do with that as well,
Mm.
which is why we play there now. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely proud to see that. And as a kid that grew up playing ball in Gresham Park
Yes, sir.
over on the east side, shout out Zone 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy to see that
Yeah.
at Gresham Park.
I love
So,
that, man.
absolutely.
Yes, sir, bro. Seeing you, man, I feel a overall sense of pride and joy, right?
Yes.
And whether that's scrolling on Instagram and seeing you on stage talking to the children, how did that feel, bro? Because, man, when I saw that, I was like, yo, my guy's doing it.
Yeah.
How'd that feel?
A blessing. I mean,
Yeah.
it felt, it's funny when you find out what you're supposed to do in life. You know, something I've been working on within myself is creating my gap. And it's not a gap in between people necessarily. I love people.
Mm.
We all are one under God's eye.
Right.
My gap is from things that I'm supposed to be doing, supposed to be giving my tea to, my thoughts, my emotions, and my attention to, versus things that I'm not supposed to be giving it to.
Right.
So what I'm not supposed to be giving it to versus what I am supposed to be giving it to,
Mhm.
right? That gap is also an acronym. It stands for God, my assignment, and my purpose, right? Not only want to stay there. That's it. I don't want to get out of that. Personally, I get in trouble when I go further away from my assignment. And I know that within myself. So my job on earth as a human being, as a man of God, as a black man, is to stay as close to my purpose and my assignment as possible.
Right.
That way I know I have a less chance of getting distracted by things that don't matter. And I'm always around things that I know God will want me to do. So that's big for me. So when it comes to talking to UGA, when it comes to talking to Tennessee, when it comes to talking to high school kids, college kids, middle school kids, that for me is just what I feel like God has put me on earth to do.
Come
So
on,
I take
bro.
a sense of pride in that every time that happens.
Yeah,
So,
that gap, I like that, bro. That's
absolutely.
a dope acronym, man. Staying on our purpose, right? Young black men, whether that's scrolling, on social media or walking around, you got distractions everywhere.
Yes.
Especially here in Atlanta, young black dudes feel like, yo, it's a woman on every corner. They get distracted being young, trying to chase women. How do we stay on our purpose? And then two, is it possible to balance being a young man who's out there dating, but then you also got a job, you also got your community work, you got your spiritual work. So how do we stay on that gap, if you will?
First, you got to know why you're here. You got to know why you're here. I think, man, you got to understand what is your purpose for being here. Every single person on earth got a purpose for being here.
That's right.
You got to understand yours, right? And once you understand that, there's a guy named Nipsey Hussle behind you right now.
Right.
Picture of him. And one thing that he said that I always take with me is that the game is going to test you, don't fold. The game is going to test you, do not fold.
That's right.
Right? So it's always going to see if you want what it is you say you want. How bad do you really want that? And it's going to be situations that you can't even explain that happen. Things that you didn't even understand. Where did this even come from? Right? You didn't ask for it. It just showed up in your life.
That's right.
Right? And so when these things happen, it's the game testing you. So you have to be, something else he said, right, was that you got to be that much meaner, that much more determined, that much more disciplined. You kind of got to be, and I hate to say it this way, you kind of got to be off a little bit.
Yeah.
From what society knows is the norm,
you
got to be kind of off.
Yeah.
You got to be kind of like, what's wrong with, like I tell athletes all the time, if people don't think something is wrong with you, you're not focused enough. If they can't question, if they're not questioning why you always on the court? Why you always in the weight room? Why you spending all this time in the library?
Yeah.
If people aren't asking you those questions, do you have a life outside of what you do?
Yeah.
You're not focused enough. And I'm not saying don't have a life.
Yeah.
But if the norm is not questioning the abnormal is not focused enough.
That's right.
Right? And so you have to first understand why you're here. What is your assignment? What is your purpose? And then once you find that, fight like hell to do that. Fight like hell to do that. All
Yeah.
right. Now, for the guys that have, responsibilities and things like that, um, I think one, it is about prioritization, but it's also about this word called empathy,
Mm-hmm.
understanding, what your woman wants from you or what
Yeah.
she needs from you.
Mm.
Um, what other responsibilities need from you, whether it's family,
Mm.
whether it's you in school, whether you're, whatever the case may be. What are your priorities, right? Where do you
Mm-hmm.
spend the most time? And then again, obviously, everybody as human beings has emotions.
That's right.
You can't play with those emotions.
Yeah.
Um, so you have to understand empathy,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe take yourself outside of yourself and try to understand things from that person's point of view.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love that. Young man, bro, we about to give y'all some game. BJ
Yeah.
especially, bro. Man, it's about to be a great one. Bro, from times of being tired, exhausted, now I've like reached that point to where I realize, and man, I heard somebody say this too. So I was like, bro, that's like serendipitous, right? We had a great guy, Bishop Greg Davis, man. You should check him out. Great dude. He was like, I realized, man, just from, chopping it up to him, was that the real reward, the trophy, the ring, if you will,
Mhm.
the championship is getting to the championship.
Yeah.
Cause then, like, once I win, I realize there's no other mountain to conquer.
Yeah.
But I realized that the journey itself, that was the prize.
Mhm.
So, speaking to that same point of putting in hours, whether it's at the library, you're
Mhm.
studying, or working on your craft, being in the gym,
Mhm.
how can young men and us too focus on that's the prize and not how I'm gonna look at the beach?
Mhm.
This grind right here,
Yeah.
that's the prize, not getting X amount in my bank account.
Yeah.
How do we
Yeah.
start focusing on that?
What's his name? Bishop Greg Davis?
Yeah.
All right, well, Bishop Greg Davis is exactly right.
Mm.
Um, the, 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 the journey is a lot more important than where you're going,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I teach process a lot,
Mm.
whether it's to young athletes, young black men. It's the process, is what happens during that phase of like on my way up,
Mm.
right? Or on my way down,
Mm.
depending on the choices that you make.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who you become in that process, you then can learn.
Mm-hmm.
Learn from what you do, right? So there's also a saying that I love as well, where it talks about how the differences between life and school, right? In school, you get the information first,
Mm.
and then you take the test.
Mm.
In life, you got the test first.
Yeah.
From that test in life, you pull that information,
That's a bar.
right?
Yeah.
And so uh, the biggest thing is understanding what you went through,
Mm.
if you can, understanding why you went through it, because
Mm.
some things you don't know why you went to until
That's right.
later on down the line. Caleb, I'm still going through things right now necessarily. I say I'm still learning from things,
Mm.
or learning why I went through things
Right.
5 years ago,
Hmm.
10 years ago.
Right. Right.
This is why I went through this situation
Mm.
in 2010, 2012, and I just learned that in 2023.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's all about understanding what you're going through, why you're going through it, but then pulling that information back, because I believe we go through things not for ourselves necessarily, but for other people.
Mm.
If I can go back and I can teach a 16-year-old about mental health, a
Mm.
16-year-old athlete about mental health,
Mm.
I'm good.
Mm.
I'm good. At 16 years old, I had suicide attempts,
Mm. Yeah.
because of baseball, because of
Yeah.
mental health, mental illnesses
Yeah.
in regard to sports,
Mm-hmm.
being the only black kid on
Mm.
a white team,
Mm.
right? So for me, if I can go back and tell a 16-year-old to not do these things, or what's going on, even and he doesn't know that, right? He doesn't understand what he's feeling right now. For me, if I can do that, I'm good. So I
Mm.
believe we have to understand what we're going through in order to pull information from that and teach somebody else who may be going through that or is about to go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, that's good game. Bro, we got young dudes here, here in Atlanta, seeing other men with they can have flashy this, flashy that,
Yeah.
whether it's the flashy women, the flashy clothes, flashy cars, all of this. How can a young kid that's 18 to 22, that's young, impressionable, not fall into those pitfalls and instead stay patient on that path? Because they be like, but Coach BJ, bro, he already got all the girls, or he already got all of this, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to work hard,
Yeah.
but that's not working out for me. So
Yeah.
like, how do they try to stay patient with that?
Well, it's tough, man. It's tough because it's so in front of their face all the time.
Mm.
Like you said, we in Atlanta. You
Mm-hmm.
walk outside, you're gonna see everything.
Mm.
And then you got social media now. You got so many outlets that shows you these things.
Right.
Who you are inside is much more important than what you have on your body. It's much more important. Anything materialistic wise that you have,
It's good stuff.
the person that you are,
Yeah.
right? Because everything fades away,
Mm.
whether it's a car, a house, a
Mm.
chain, whatever the case may be.
Mm.
These materialistic things fade away,
Mm.
but it's about who you are, though. I think you have to look at maybe not why, but what's more important, right? What's more important? Is it myself?
Mm.
Am I in a position in life right now that I really want to be?
Mm.
Right? Like, am I fighting every day to get that end goal that I said I wanted to get a while ago?
Mm.
Right? Like, what is in front of me? Because there's more distractions out here than you think. That car can be a distraction.
Mm.
That this female could be a distraction.
Mm.
Right? These other circumstances, this other materialistic stuff that you want can be a distraction.
Mm.
But the thing that I said I wanted to accomplish, have I accomplished that yet?
That's right.
Right? And so I think that's important as well.
Yeah.
Understanding those concepts.
I
Yeah.
like that, man. Accomplishments, being in the moment.
Mhm.
As men too, bro, you know, you can get just caught up in, yo, I'm trying to get to this point and
Mhm.
then I'll be happy.
Mhm.
But then it's like I don't want to be satisfied either.
Mhm.
So how do we try to find that happy medium, right? Between being happy but not being overly satisfied too.
Yeah. Don't be satisfied.
Mm. Yeah, it's simple.
The paradox between that, Caleb, is that is the happy medium. To not be satisfied, but to be happy, right?
Wow.
Like, and I hate to say necessarily find happiness,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't believe a human being should not be happy on earth.
Mm.
I also don't believe a human being should be satisfied
Yeah.
because I think that it's much more that people could do
Mm.
and people could be,
Mm.
right? Like, whoever you are, whoever you think you can be more.
Mm.
Be more. Your potential is limitless,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, I do think that people should be around things that make them happy, though. And sometimes you have it to where the thing that makes you happy, you're gonna struggle within that journey. It's almost like going to college and majoring in something that you love,
Mm.
but knowing you gotta wake up every day and study, you gotta right, you gotta do all of these things. You
Yeah.
still gotta struggle for it, right?
Yeah.
So I think you have to be happy,
Mm.
but not satisfied.
Mm.
Don't ever be satisfied.
Mm.
Don't be satisfied because it's always something else that you can attain.
Yeah.
You know, and when you look at, and this is what we were talking about earlier too, when you look at the greats, they're never satisfied.
Mm.
How many times I was watching The Last Dance this morning all day,
Mm.
right? I
Got
saw
that motivation.
all 10 episodes earlier with my mom, and every time Jordan wins a ring, he won his first ring, he holding up 2,
Mm. You already
right?
think about the next one.
Yeah, second ring he
Yeah.
holding up 3.
Mm.
Every time he won a ring, he's holding up the next number, trying to get that next ring, right? And all of the greats have that mentality. All of them do. They're never satisfied. It's always something else they can get,
Yeah.
but they're happy though.
Mm.
Right? So I think you have to be happy but never be satisfied.
Come on.
Yeah.
I love that. BJ, what makes you happy?
That is a wonderful question.
Thank you.
I think unconditional love.
Mm.
Unconditional love.
Yeah.
On a deeper aspect, I think unconditional love because I think that people are all evolving.
Mm.
When you deal with people, you have to give them time to evolve.
Yeah.
You know, nobody is themselves, in solidarity. Nobody is going to just be that.
Yeah.
People are constantly growing and changing and evolving. And that's something that I've actually challenged myself when it comes to people as well, is to understand that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so big on empathy and unconditional love. I
Yeah.
believe there's only one kind of love, it's unconditional love. So for me, on a deeper level, I would say unconditional love.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, man. I look back on my life and some of the things that caused me pain in my life also made me happy.
Ain't that crazy?
Like
Yeah.
sports, for example, right? Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coaching baseball and softball every weekend now, and it's fun. I love
Yeah.
it, right? Also, what I do makes me happy as well. The ability to come out, learn things about the mental side of life, and share that knowledge with people who look like myself,
Right.
people who are going through similar situations I have been through when it comes to sports, right? Like those things make me happy as well. Those things bring me internal enjoyment.
Right.
Internal enjoyment. It's not the car, it's not the whatever the case, the materialistic thing.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. Like for me, it's knowing that I'm making an impact. That's what brings me enjoyment.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Coaching the game, bro.
Yeah.
Coaching baseball, you love.
Mhm.
Do you kind of see now as a coach, I see what my coaches were talking about now. How's that experience? It's just seeing that of like coaches by like, yo, like now I'm telling you what to do.
Yeah.
How's that whole experience?
I see what my coaches were talking about, yes and no.
Mm.
Yes, because it's funny now I'm able to kind of see myself at like 15, 16,
Yeah,
17
yeah,
while
yeah,
I'm coaching the high
yeah.
school guys. Um, I see myself in that regard. I see my coaches mean in that regard, but I'm also trying to be better than my coach in terms of acquiring more knowledge,
Mm,
right? So when it comes to the mental side of sports,
mm,
looking at it from that aspect,
right.
a lot of my coaches didn't understand what meditation was.
Yeah, yeah.
What you mean you got to sit in the corner and breathe and close your eyes? That's
Mm,
stupid.
mm,
Go out there and hit some more balls and catch some more ground balls. Like, no,
mm.
coach, let's work on the thinking side of sports.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean? So from that aspect, it's a yes and no.
Mm,
Um, I think that also and from my research from working with coaches and
mm-hmm.
everything, a lot of them don't understand that these are human beings
That's right.
that are going to have an impact, or you're going to have an impact on and what they become,
Mm,
right? So like how can I put this? Your interaction with them may be the most important interaction that they face, not only that day, not only that month, but that year,
mm.
and then for the rest of their lives.
That's good.
So I want to make sure that every single athlete I come in contact with has a positive interaction with me,
Yeah.
right? Even if I'm getting on you, I'm gonna make sure you know why I'm so hard on you,
Mm,
because it's bigger than our sport.
yeah.
It's your life. It's what you're gonna become when you're older. When you start becoming independent and becoming an independent thinker,
Mm,
which is what I'm grooming you to be, and an actual human being, an actual adult. I want you to have these interactions and say, Coach taught me that.
mm,
Because I got coaches that taught me things that I still use right now.
mm,
And they taught me that 15 years ago.
mm.
So I want to be that kind of coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that, man. BJ, I got a young nephew, man. He's 3. And I'm seeing now, without even being a father, I'm kind of like a second father,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And it's like I see, somebody who looks like me, who acts like me, all of that. And I realize, yo, being a father or loving somebody who's a part of you is like a completely different experience. And now I'll have these questions to where I'll ask Sid or my own father, like, yo, how should you love a son or how should you love a nephew or a grandchild? And my question, man, for you, and I have these conversations all the time, do you feel like young black men need tough love, or do we need a updated iOS version, if you will, of black men showing love to our sons, but still molding them as well?
We need both.
Yeah, I think so too.
We need both. We need a healthy balance of both.
Yeah.
My dad is from Zone 6,
Mm-hmm.
the streets of East Atlanta.
Right.
The
Old Atlanta.
old Atlanta.
Yeah.
Not the gentrified Kirkwood.
Not East Atlanta
No,
Village.
no. The old, like,
Yeah.
yeah, Little
Yeah.
Vietnam, like East
Yeah.
Lake, all that. The old Edgewood. And
Mm.
so I get a lot of that. I got a lot of that love when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of this tough love, the love that a parent would raise their child with in Kirkwood.
Mm.
Uh, and it taught me a lot. As I got older, conversations sort of changed a little bit. I became a man. I started
Mm.
to learn how to think,
Mm.
not what to think, but how to think,
Mm.
right?
That's a good one.
As a man,
Yeah.
as a black man. And so I'm seeing the relationship change a little bit. Now it's more conversation based.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more I love you. Well, it was always been I love you, son. But now it's like a I love you from a different view right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Right.
And so it's more human, man to man,
Mm-hmm.
instead of it's always gonna be father to son,
For sure.
but it's more man to man
Yeah.
talk right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I got both types of loves growing
Mm-hmm.
up, and I think we need both.
Mm.
I think it's important for a black child to be hugged,
Mm-hmm.
to be kissed on the forehead or
Mm.
whatever,
Mm.
right? But I also think it's important for a black child to know that one day you're gonna become a black man, a black
Mm.
woman,
Mm.
right? And this world that we live in,
Mm.
you're gonna wake up with 2 strikes on you.
Mm.
Because you are black and you a man, or you black and you a woman. Those are
Mm.
2 strikes right there.
Mm.
You can go outside and something could happen, and
Mm.
you can have anything to do with it, and it can be your fault,
Right.
right? Like that's the reality.
Mm.
So I think it has to be both.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that parents have to be willing to understand that you have to teach both.
Yeah.
You got some parents that do one or the other, and that's it.
Yeah.
No, let's incorporate both into our parenting styles.
Mm-hmm.
And I plan on doing that as well when I have my children. I don't have
Yeah.
any yet, but
Yeah.
when I have my children, I plan on incorporating both.
I love that.
And my mother's the same way. So,
Yeah.
both types of love. So,
Yes, sir, man.
absolutely.
Earlier, bro, you said a real heavy bar. I think it's right of what not to think, but how to think,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Break that down, man, because our minds are so important. You
Mhm.
know, we have what's that, millions of thoughts a day,
Yes.
whether that's positive,
Mhm.
negative, and then those thoughts can then be manifested into our reality.
Mhm.
So, how do we break that down of not what to think, but
Mhm.
how to think?
I'm gonna break it down in two ways actually. So,
Yeah.
the first way is an athletic way,
Mm.
right? You got a lot of athletes that don't understand that you have to be different to be great.
Come on. Yep.
There's no way you're gonna do the same thing as somebody else and be great.
Yeah.
We talked about process earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Different process equals different result.
Yeah.
1 + 1 is 2, and it will always be 2.
Yeah.
Same process equals same result,
Hmm.
right? So if somebody's telling you what to do,
Mm.
and you do exactly what they tell you to do,
Mm.
I guarantee you will not get a different result.
Mm.
You just not. You don't get the same result as the next person got.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they told to do it that way.
Wow.
You always will get that.
Mm.
So you have to understand what to think. The greats understood what to think.
Yeah.
Like they understood what to think.
Mm.
Right? Like 81 points by Kobe, he was hurt.
Mm.
The man was hurt. If you look at the game, he played with the wrap on his leg all the time,
Yeah.
but he had like a cartilage, a torn cartilage or something in his
Mm.
joint line or something like that.
Wow.
81 points.
Mm.
Right? Normally it would be like, bro, don't play.
Yeah.
You hurt.
Mm.
I'm gonna play.
That's right.
Not only am I gonna play, I'm gonna have the second greatest scoring game of all time.
Wow.
Right? So it's
Yeah.
it's not what to think, it's how to think.
That's right.
Right? And the same thing applies when it comes to life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have a lot of things right now, a lot of apps right now, a lot of forms of media right now that teach you what to think.
Mm.
Man, me and my mom were having a conversation the other day, and we were talking about the news, and we were also talking about how people tell you like what beauty is now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost as if the more they put somebody in front of your face, you are conditioned, which
Yeah.
is the word that we really need to be discussing, conditioned,
Yeah.
subconsciously conditioned to think that that person is beautiful because I see them the most.
Mm.
And the more you hear something, the more you believe it's right. Think about how we're raised as kids. We raised as babies.
Mm.
Our parents tell us something millions of times, and
That's
it gets
right.
into our subconscious mind. Before
Yep.
you know it, we ain't got to think about not doing it because
Mm-mm.
we've been told it's in our subconscious mind already, right? We were taught what to think, right? That's our parents taught us what to think, right? But to get back to the news and everything, when you look at people who people are put in front of our face all the time, that's what we're taught to believe about that person. So if the media wants to tell us this person is great, we're gonna believe this person is great.
That's right.
If they're cute, they're cute.
Mm.
If they whatever they are, if they're rich, they're rich. If they're poor, they're poor. Whatever, right? We have to understand what to think or how to think, not what to think, but how to think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that. Our minds, the psyche, conditioning, right?
Conditioning.
Hearing that word, most athletes, man, or people in general, right, at the gym, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves. They don't try to touch that treadmill.
Yeah.
And I tell folks that's how you know really got that dog in them, man, because they ain't trying to run because start doing cardio, conditioning. It's challenging. You have to dig deep. During those moments of whether it's 100-yard sprints or running on the track for whatever sport, running poles, baseball, how do you try to lock in and say, I got to do this, and not only do I have to do this, I'm going to conquer this and then have fun in this process too.
Man, it's so funny you asked me that question. So lately, I say probably the last maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I've been consistent, bro. Like waking up every day running 4 miles. And I've been doing that because I want to make sure that I condition my mind. There's so many parallels from working out to life, specifically in 2 places. One you already named. One is first and foremost getting up there initially, having the courage to get up there even though you don't want to do it. The second thing is when you get tired, what happens? Right? Like when you get tired, usually when we get physically tired, our minds go out the window.
Yep. Get negative thoughts.
Negative thoughts.
You just going through the motions.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. But in life, you got to think about what happens when we get tired for real, and do we get distracted.
Mm.
So there's a parallel between discipline and distraction,
Mm.
right? On the treadmill, once we
Mm.
get tired, are we going to get distracted?
Mm.
Your tiredness can be a distraction
Mm.
from your goal, from
Mm.
what you really want, right?
Mm.
Same thing happens when you lifting weights. I've taught weight training at two SEC schools now,
Mm.
Tennessee and Georgia. And I would always tell them, you're going to get tired on your 8th rep because you're almost done.
Mm.
Specifically, probably your third, fourth set. That
Mm.
8th rep, you're going to get tired.
Mm.
You're going to get tired. But what are you able to keep your form?
Mm.
Like, what happens when you get tired?
You're gonna keep discipline. Nah,
Are
you
you going
start
to
getting
stay disciplined?
sloppy. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yep.
then you increase your chances of getting hurt.
Yeah.
Your form goes bad, you
Yep.
increase your chances of getting hurt.
Mm.
Same thing applies to life.
Mm.
Same thing applies to life.
Mm.
When you get tired,
Mm.
are you going to get distracted? Are you
Mm.
going to stay disciplined?
Mm.
Because if you get distracted, you going up here, you get distracted, you're going to be going over here. And what you really want is up here,
Mm.
right? So what happens when you get tired? That's why I've been so big on myself, like running 4 miles. I'm getting tired at the 3rd mile.
Mm.
But what's going to happen? Am I going to hop off? Am I going to get distracted? Like, am I going to lose form?
Right.
Like, what am I telling myself? And then you got to think about the internal dialogue, that self-talk. Now we get into sports psychology stuff, right? That self-talk. What are you talking about? And in between these two ears, there's 6.6 inches in between your ears.
That's right.
What dialogue is going on?
Mm.
Right? Are you telling yourself, I'm good? Are you
Yeah.
telling yourself, man, I'm tired right now? How do you cope with these things?
Yeah.
Because all of this applies to real life.
Hmm.
All of this applies to real life.
Oh man,
Yeah.
BJ, bro, this was fire, bro.
Yeah.
Man, we already at like 40 plus minutes, bro. This has been crazy, bro. On the way out, right? What upcoming projects are you working on? Cause man, on the way upstairs, he was talking heavy, man. Upcoming projects, Apollo Sports Counseling,
Yeah.
all that stuff, bro. Talk to me.
So, this is something that I've actually been working on with my dad, but really both my parents. And I told them, like, you know, this is something that's gonna either be very good or it's gonna be very bad. But I'm gonna do it though. You know, I feel like I got an allegiance to God before I got an allegiance to man any day of the week. And then God put this on my heart to do it, so I'm gonna do it. Whatever come with it, I'm ready to deal with. There's so many parallels between the two things that I love: black psychology, sports psychology. When we look at the concepts and the topics of what we learn in sports psychology: focus, goal setting, teamwork, consistency, discipline, mindfulness and meditation, right? The ability to be in the zone. You telling me Black America doesn't need all of that? And we've been through 400 years of trauma, right? Like, we need these things every single day we wake up, right? So the parallels between black psychology, the way black people think, and sports psychology go hand in hand. So I've actually created a concept called black sports psychology, right? And this is a concept in 2 ways, right? So the first concept is obviously for my black athletes out there, we don't have black psychology sports psychology in the young black community. We don't even understand what that is unless you go to a Power 5 school.
Right.
Because UGA has people that teaches these things.
Wow.
Tennessee has people that teaches these things, and I'm sure a lot of other PWIs and Power 5 and SEC schools have these things.
Right.
We don't know what these things are when we're in high school. When we're growing up on the east, west, south, north side of Atlanta. We don't understand what these things are. In the city, we don't know what sports psychology is. Right? We don't understand these things. We don't understand what they are at HBCUs. Right? I went to Morehouse. I had to go to Tennessee to get my degree in sports psychology. We didn't know what it was. That's a problem.
Right.
So whether it's black athletes understanding what it is and being able to implement these things that will not only help you on the field, but also help you when you return back to your neighborhood.
That's right.
Now you can understand how to be better focused. Now I can walk down the street and know which decision to make because I'm disciplined. Now my thoughts come a lot more clear because I've been studying meditation. I've been doing imagery. I can see myself in the future by using all 5 of my senses and envision myself being exactly where I want to be. I'm an athlete and I know how to do these things, right? The second thing about that concept, black sports psychology, is, like I said before, black people using sports psychology.
Yeah.
Don't tell me we don't need it. Right? Don't tell me we don't need it. And I'm not gonna sit here and hide my people from something that I learned that other groups of people have had for a very long time,
Mm.
right? Like that. I'm not gonna do that.
Mm.
I keep bringing Nipsey Hussle up,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? There's a book that he read called "The Spook Who Sat by the Door."
Mm-hmm.
I did not read that book, but I saw the movie,
That's classic.
the one that got banned from the movie theaters when it
Yes.
came out,
Mm.
right? I felt like I was a spook who sat by the door when I'm in Tennessee learning about sports psychology.
Mm.
Because I look around and I'm the only black person in my class,
Wow.
right? It's 3 people that look like me in 2 cohorts,
Wow.
which is a shame. And you got the first black woman, right, to get her degree, her PhD in sports psychology in the last 40, 50 years. That's crazy.
Mm.
Crazy.
Mm.
Right? So for me, it's a concept I'm bringing to the black community. I believe it could help out people. I believe it could change lives.
Mm.
Right? So for me, I'm honored to do it. Like I said, whatever come with it is gonna come with it. But I got an allegiance to God before I got an allegiance to man.
Come on, bro.
So I'm ready to deal with whatever come with it.
BJ, man, it is always an absolute honor, man, being in your presence, being around you, connecting with you, man. And everything that you are currently doing, everything that you're about to do is needed for our people,
Yeah.
our communities, and the world
Yeah.
at large, man.
Yeah.
Where can everybody follow you and keep up with your work
Mm-hmm.
and stay tapped in as well?
So my IG is actually Coach BJ Armstead. I have another one, Apollo Sports Counseling.
Yeah.
Another one, Mind Gym, which is my clothing line that I've started. I got it on right now.
Yeah, I love it.
Let me see. I got YouTube.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing. Apollo Sports Counseling.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, man. BJ, bro, I'm gonna buy some of that merch too. It's hard.
Gotcha.
I noticed it too. Y'all, man, tap in, bro. BJ is a young legend, man, and he's embodying everything that we need for our people and especially black men. Because if the black man's not right, the family's not gonna be right.
Absolutely.
So we got to get right first. So, man, I
Absolutely.
appreciate all the work that you do. Stay on your journey. Stay on your path. Anything that you will ever need from myself, Sid, anybody on the team, Aaron, whoever, let me know. I
Gotcha.
got you, bro. But
Gotcha.
it's always love over here.
Love.
Always welcome on the show, man. You've been through every type of transition, elevation, growth, ebbs and flows of life, everything, man. So we appreciate you greatly. Y'all make sure to tap in, subscribe, follow BJ. Coaching programs, whether it's high school, colleges, even pro sports. We're going to say that too. Apollo Sports Counselor, man. Hit him up. BJ, he got you, man. Blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. That's another one in the books. Until next time. Peace.